So this is the weekly update. I just spent like 30 minutes to an hour talking to the camera and I wasn't even recording. And so this is like the second take. But yeah, this week I got early assignment and it used like a lot of the money. It was pretty scary. So just to recap, I had these 55-50 spreads, about 150 contracts, 144 of them got early assignment, even though they had 30 days till expiration. Just, I think people were getting liquidated or margin called, and so just to see it, so that 55 leg got early assigned. So we see here the first assignment was 28 contracts, 154,000, 116 contracts, 638,000, and right. So I got assigned that, and I had the choice. So I could, because with the 50 legs, right? I had a choice. I could have exercised and just took max loss, but I didn't want to do that. That would have been around 70,000 loss. And so what I did was I sold the 50 legs for some cash because at that, minus almost 800,000 on your account, it put me in a margin call. And so I had a choice. I could either cover it with by selling the shares via the exercising the 50 leg, or what I decided to do was sell these legs. So the 116 and gave me 136, and then 28 gave me 32. So I was still in a margin call after doing these two, but I still had like an extra 1,400 shares, 14,000 shares. And so I could have sold some shares, but what I decided to do was sell deep covered calls on it. And that put cash into my account. That's why I have so much buying power. But even then, still down 388, or I'm using that much margin. Like I'm getting charged interest on that right now. But it is better. My maintenance requirement is 0 now. And so my maintenance requirement is down, but the interest is going to be a lot. So that early assignment play, what I was just describing of selling the long leg or the leg, one of the legs that wasn't assigned, and then selling covered calls. And so this is how I calculated it. So the 28 contracts at 55 minus 154, same thing with the other 144 contracts. I got minus 638 as we saw earlier. And then I sold the 50 puts for the corresponding ones that were all early assigned. So this put money into my account, right? And then I got 234 premium from selling the 144 covered calls. So I didn't exactly show that. You can do that now. Maybe I need faster internet or computer, really. And so if we go here, we can see the amount I got just to show the numbers. So I got 234 there. And then when the contracts expire, God willing, that Bitcoin is above whatever price so that this, expires in the money. And so I sell 14,400 shares at 35, and that would put 504, right? So that's the math. And then I am getting charged interest on the margin I'm using. So we saw that it's 388, but I'm just using 400 to make the math easier. And then similarly, the DTE is about 900 days. It's right 2028, middle of 2028. So I have it about 900 days. I think it's around 860 to be more specific, but I've just put 900. Better to overestimate. And then the interest rate is 5%. It is actually 4.5% now. They did recently lower it, but I'm gonna just put 5%. Just rather overestimate. So that put me about 52,000. So let's just say 60,000. Added all that up, that gives me around 5,500. And so, or 55,500. And so, if it plays out in the way I hope, then, and the way I hope is, or for this in particular to play out, Bitcoin just has to be above 35. Which is 60,000, 61,000. If that plays out, if Bitcoin is above 35 in 2028, 900 days, around 900 days from now, that play would have netted 55. It's not great, but all I care about is keeping my account afloat. And so I had the choice of this and just losing 70K when I got the early assignment. So this is what I chose. I did talk about more stuff on my first take, but I think I'm gonna just skip over it. And so let's recap. So I got early assigned. This is my defensive play for it. And so I need to roll these out to June, and then I need to roll these Junes to January. I have some protocols. That's what this thing is. So if the RSI becomes overbought, I'm probably gonna do it. End of February is another deadline. And then I mean, if it doesn't cost to roll, just roll, because if I don't roll and I get early assigned on more, it will just be too much. Like the margin I use will keep increasing, and the interest that I need to pay will keep increasing. And so as you see, like 5% of 400,000 is 20,000 a year, and that will just be subtracted from this number. And even though my margin maintenance is 0, which is great, but you know, that number will keep going down. And so that is another thing. I do need cash flow. That if I can get cash flow in here to counteract the subtracting of the account, that will help out a lot. And then that's why, well, first, right, roll this out because it's to reduce the risk of early assignment. Like even though this had 30 days, it's still got early assignment, but this is, you know, around 100 days. And so that I didn't get any early assignments on this. So if I can roll these out to January, that would be great. I am willing to use up to 30K or 50K really, because as you saw, I particularly made 50K on it. And so you know, it's just copium maybe. But right, so that play in the future would cost me 50K, and if I can maybe use that 50K to roll this out, but you know, it would increase my margin, which affects the math a little bit, but I think it will be okay. All right. And then once I roll this out to January, hopefully that gives me enough time to catch a moment where it wouldn't cost anything to roll out to October 2027. And then my pretty much bet would be that Bitcoin is above 100K by October 2027. They do say that October 2026 should be the end of the bear market. And so 1 year after the bear market, which is October 2027, based on this 4-year cycle, which I did not believe in, but it's playing out almost perfectly. And so I think that would hopefully give me enough time to where all these spreads will expire worthless. As you see, I also have a lot of buying power. My margin maintenance is 0. If I can get these to October and I have the buying power, I will probably try to sell spreads on SPY. I learned my lesson with trying to sell spreads on Bitcoin or more volatile assets. And so I'll probably sell spreads on SPY and try to really chip away at this margin used. Or maybe it's either that, subtract this, or I can roll these up to better targets. So just to show it. So from 155 to 165 for 100 shares, that's 1,000 that you would get at the end of the expiration. And we see that if I roll from 155 to 165, right, it only costs 400. But you know, the worth is 1,000. But you know, it's because the time is in there. I'm kind of paranoid that if I'm recording or not. It is 12 minutes now, so I could put it into here. It would be any money before this whole mess. Any money I was making, I was doing this, rolling it up. In a sense that I think I talked about in the video before, that I'm doubling my money in 3 years. I'll take that. And so that is the plan, but that's a while a ways from now. So just to recap before this video ends, I got early assigned, took a defensive play by selling the other leg of the puts, and then also keeping the shares that I got assigned and selling covered calls on that. Very deep. I am in the positive if things play out, if that happens. But if I take any more early assignments, I'll be cooked. And so I need to roll these out ASAP. By the end of February, I'm gonna roll these out to January, and then I will wait until I can roll it out to October for no cost on the rolling. And then once that happens, I will start thinking about whether to sell spreads on SP 500. But that's so far away from now. But yeah, that's the thing. So right now, if I really ask what's the best way to keep the most danger for my account is, I mean, if it goes down, but I don't think it will go to 0 unless I mean, I don't know how this is gonna play out in terms of when Bitcoin goes down, how much will my account go down with this new 16,000 shares and the covered calls. But if it hovers around here, it won't hit 0. And then the only risk of it hitting 0 is if two things need to happen at once. Bitcoin goes down a little bit more. So the lowest that it's been, was 80,000, and then every year or every month I'm getting subtracted money from the interest, right? So 20,000 a year is getting subtracted, and so this it comes straight from this number. And so cash flow, I need to make I need to work outside and put the money in here is what I need to do. Luckily, yeah, I am religious, and I God is all knowing and perfect timing. I was offered, or my friend got me a job, and so I just lucky that I should be able to start working next week, but we'll see how it goes. I When things are a little bit more stable, not as much to talk about, I'll probably talk about other stuff like the 3 times I got margin called. The best way is to look at Nvidia. But yeah, I got margin called 3 times. Well, the one that just happened yet. This last week was the third time, and hopefully the last time. Third time's charm. I'm gonna learn all my lessons. But yeah, I want to talk about it. I mean, the way I want to think about it, I do want these videos to be for something. One, they keep me in check, and if somebody does watch it, and I talk about my faith, maybe it can help somebody's faith. But yeah, that's the recap. I That was quite a stressful week. Early summit was not fun, but honestly, the yeah, I, uh, hopefully this plays out okay, and then I can say thank goodness that the idea came to me to play it like that rather than just take the loss, take that minus 70K loss. But yeah, hopefully next week is better.